This college girl never imagined she would end up with a man who was half wolf and half human. What she never expected even more was that one day she would be raising 2 kids on her own. Her husband died in a hunting accident, leaving Hannah responsible for the entire family. The pressure on her felt overwhelming, and she had no idea what to do. Her 2 children had unusual bodies. Whenever they got sick, Hannah would stand at the doorway holding them, unsure whether she should take them to a vet or a regular hospital. So she cared for them while trying to learn as much medical knowledge as she could. Her older daughter Yuki was naturally energetic. Whenever her emotions ran high, her hair would stand on end and she would turn into a wolf the next second. She often destroyed furniture in the house. Her younger brother Aim was the opposite. He was quiet, gentle, and nothing like a wolf at all. To take care of them, Hannah had to drop out of school. The only money they had left was the small amount her husband saved. Hannah wasn't afraid of being poor. What worried her much more was that her children might not have a future. Should they grow up as humans, or live as wolves? Hannah didn't know who she could talk to about this, so she kept everything to herself. Then another problem came up. One day Yuki wanted to go for a walk. As soon as she stepped outside, she ran into a small dog. Her wolf instincts kicked in and she instantly transformed, growling at the dog. People nearby stared at Hannah with confusion, making her feel extremely uncomfortable. She realized the city was no longer a place where they could stay. At night the kids often howled, annoying the neighbors. The next day the landlord confronted Hannah. He suspected she was hiding pets and demanded that she move out immediately. Not long after, workers from child welfare came to investigate. Since the kids had never had checkups or vaccinations, they suspected Hannah was neglecting or even harming them. They insisted on seeing the children. Looking at her kids hiding behind her, Hannah finally understood that staying in the city would only push them into a corner. She quietly asked them how they wanted to live in the future. Yuki didn't respond. Aim looked confused. Hannah knew they needed a place where no one would interfere with their lives. Leaving the city became her only option. A real estate agent took Hannah to a remote village. The roads were narrow, and hardly anyone lived nearby. It took at least half an hour to drive to the closest school or hospital. But to Hannah, this was the safe haven she had been dreaming of. The house was big but worn down, the kind that looked like a strong wind could knock it over. Still, the cheap rent and quiet surroundings made her move in without hesitation. Over the next month, Hannah worked hard repairing the place. She replaced broken boards and reinforced the leaks. In the end, she created a real home for her kids. But before she could rest, she realized their savings were almost gone. To survive, she had to cut costs. Hannah decided to grow vegetables, but she had no experience. She spent hours clearing weeds, loosening the soil, adding fertilizer, and planting seeds according to the book. The vegetables grew well at first but quickly withered. She tried tomatoes next and failed again. During this time Yuki got scratched by a cat because she lacked hunting skills. Aim panicked, while Yuki hid the pain and didn't want Hannah to know. Seeing her kids struggle, Hannah understood that instincts couldn't be learned from books alone. So she began taking them into the mountains to teach them how to hunt. Yuki quickly showed her wolf-like senses. She could catch mice with her hands and wasn't even afraid of the snakes under the trees. Aim hated hunting. He thought wolves in stories were always disliked, so he preferred not to be one. Ironically, in the future Yuki chose to live as a human while Aim chose a wolf's life. Meanwhile Hannah was still frustrated about farming. Her tomatoes had died again. She was ready to give up when an old man from the village appeared. He told her that her planting method would never work and reminded her not to quit just because of failure. Hannah wasn't upset. She started studying her books more carefully and took notes. Not long after, the old man's daughter brought Hannah a bag of seeds he wanted her to have. The next day Hannah turned the soil once more and planted the new seeds. In this quiet countryside,